Hello everyone. Hello, welcome to this first tea time. Tea time, what is it? First of all, this is a new format we're trying to launch. Hopefully this is going to come online every week or every fortnight, depending on the interactions we've got with you guys and how well it does. Because, well, we needed kind of a way of interacting a bit more with you, making sure that you're aware of all the things that happen within the company and all the stuff we've got lined up. 2021 is really looking to be one of the busiest years we've ever had. So we wanted to give ourselves and you an opportunity to have a more informal interaction and just a way of getting together and answering some questions and so on. So tea time is really just sitting here with you guys. I've got my my notes here, and I've got the chat. I can take a look at. I can see some questions, and there will be announcements. It may be that on some tea times in the future we won't have any announcement at all. I'm saying that my microphone is not catching well, so let's see, is that any better? It might be that in some future tea time we won't have any big announcement to make or anything, but we'll have a chat. We'll still have a chat, keep you up to date on what's happening on some development, on some upcoming games. You might want to tell us, hey, I want to know more about this, this and this, and we'll bring it to you in the next occasion. So let's make sure that this is really a way for us to have a really informal interaction. And of course, if we can't say anything, if we can't say something to you, we'll of course tell you. But so tea time is really about announcements. We'll do a little bit of chat as well. I can see here some questions already coming in. No biscuits. Yes, well, we tried the biscuits, but it was a bit of a mess on the table, so we'll make sure that we've got biscuits for the next time. We will have a bit more insights. The idea is that we maybe in the future we can get connected to one of the producers during the call, answering questions about one of the products they're taking care of. Some ongoing development as well. So feel free to ask, and we'll make sure that we have more stuff coming to you in the next iterations of tea time. So first of all, just before we jump into the announcements, a little bit of housekeeping. As you know, we've got we just finished the holiday sale on Steam. It's always a great time for us, of course, because we sell more copies of the games, but we also have get to be in touch with more new customers, right? A lot of new people buy our games, and this year was specifically interesting because games like ICBM and Shadow Empire did very, very well, and it allowed us to really talk to a vast amount of new people, and it was very interesting because we tend to be very wargaming centric, and of course that's our core. But when we manage to get products that are just a bit outside of the scope or the traditional scope, we really have the opportunity to have a different type of feedback. So that was great. Of course, bestsellers, Panzer Corps and Gladius and Battlestar Galactica during the sale, but we had a few surprises, and one of which is is part of the stream today. The other thing is, this year we've got a load of games releasing. We have we've got 20 new products on the schedule, and I mean like standalone new games being released in 2021. We've got over 20 DLCs. That's across the board, across all games. But not only, we've got there's a ton of unannounced products we've got coming in, and we have development already planned for releases up to 2023 right now. So it's a lot of stuff to handle. I mean, Just to give you an idea, we currently work with 58 different development studios actively. 8 of which, 7 of which are completely new. We never worked with them before on completely new unannounced games. We have, I think, 4 unannounced products that are based on very popular IPs. We have our own, brands as well. Stuff we own, like Field of Glory, and of course we're working on a Master of Magic as well. There's a lot happening. So this is a time for us to have a more frequent conversation with you guys. Of course, this is not going to be the stream where we show you Distant Worlds or we show you Starship Troopers. Not today, but we'll make sure that we update you more frequently in the future. I guess that the first thing to say is make sure that this becomes kind of a weekly habit. To tune in on Thursday afternoon and chat with us. So let me check if there's any. No, I don't have any milk in my tea. There has been a debate about sugar in tea for the true British tea. I don't have sugar, but that's more like this is the Italian way of having tea. So just forgive me for that. Right. So first thing first, as you've seen, Armored Brigade. So Armored Brigade will have its 3rd DLC. It is the 2 new factions are in the game, but there's also going to be a new map. The Armored Brigade DLCs have always come with 2 factions and a large map to play on. You know how Armored Brigade works, right? You've got like the different sections of the map you can focus on. This map will be slightly smaller than the previous ones, but we replace that with with the fact that we have a smaller map, with the linear campaign. So it's the first time that a DLC of Armored Brigade comes with a linear campaign. The campaign is inspired by the events of the Prague Spring. So you'll have to play your factions. There's over 200 new units and aircrafts in the game. So you'll have a lot to play with. It's going to be focused on these 2 new factions, but of course, as the game expands, you'll be able to drop in, your existing units and so on. In terms of where Armored Brigade is, when we launched Armored Brigade with Veitika, the guys were, I think it took them like 10 years to bring the actual original game to the market. It was a very long development process because the game is so complex and so in depth. But they built it so that we could release more DLCs with a shorter amount of time. So the time frame between DLCs have shortened. Now we don't know what's coming next yet. We're focusing on this one right now, but we'll make sure that the legacy of this franchise goes on, because it not only it opened a new style of, I would say, of wargaming, but it definitely helped us work on DLC systems for more in-depth war games that weren't possible before. If you think about all the other war games we've done in the past, like in-depth war games, there hasn't been many DLCs attached to them. Take a War in the East, take a Decisive Campaigns, take a Flashpoint Campaigns type of war game. The amount of DLCs releasing has always been low because of the structure of the product. In Armored Brigade, it was much easier to create the DLCs and more fitting with the product itself. So I think that proved to be very successful. So we'll go on doing this as we go. Right. Let me check if there's anything here to answer. All right. Any news about Steel Tigers? I'm going to come to that. Yeah. Let's talk about Steel Tigers again later on. I'm still sad that my microphone is not catching well, so doing this again. Let me know if that works better or worst on the other side. So you see, that's the good thing of just like ongoing experiments, I guess. Okay, let me know. Is that better? So this was for Armored Brigade. We have the next product I want to cover is Order of Battle. Order of Battle is a game is now 5 years old. We have been working on Order of Battle in different ways. It started off as a premium game, and then we developed it into a free-to-play product, and it proved to be a very interesting experiment, because when you move to a free-to-play type of approach, you tend to get a lot of new players. So if you want to show Order of Battle now, if you want to, you tend to get a lot of new players. The problem with that is, of course, that you'll have a lot of players that won't have a clue about playing the game itself. So, the risk is that your users' reviews will drop because people don't understand the game. So they just get rid of it. They don't like it because it's too complex. So we had to fight against a different type of problem, right? How to educate consumers, users, players to actually play this game, which is a proper war game, right? So you've got to know what you're doing when you play it. Well, the result is that we moved to free to play about 4 years ago. Only in 2020, Order of Battle got 1 million unique players, over 1 million unique players. That's a lot. It's a lot for a war game. Of these 1 million players, of course, a good chunk of them just dismissed the game because it was too complex. But still, we got to in front of a lot of eyeballs, and the goal was always, right, how do we then move these people to buy content within the game and create a new community of players that are constantly going back to the game. And it did work very, very well, because this is still one of the most played games we have in terms of peak concurrent users on Steam. If you go on Steam and check the most downloaded free-to-play strategy games, Order of Battle World War II is always going to be in the between top 30 and top 50. So that, it's a huge achievement for a war game. So we keep releasing DLCs, right? The next up is going to be Allies Defiant. It's the start of a new trilogy. Of course, we'll take the events from the Allied perspective this time. So it will. The first one will cover between 1940 and 1942, and it will primarily involve British forces in battles across Europe. That's the core of the product. Why we're doing trilogies, because we know that most of you are very fond of specific periods of World War II or specific theaters. So we want to focus very much on specific areas of the war. So we've done the Soviets very, very successfully last year. We want to sort of now move to a different perspective. The game will launch this month, and we'll have 12 scenarios, and we've got have also a few new units in the game. Remember also that we've launched the tournament system for Order of Battle. It's not a minor thing, I'd say. Order of Battle desperately needed this competitive approach, and when we launched the tournament system, we just had a few maps, and Back in Epsom, our senior producer David Sharrock was tinkering with maps, with multiplayer maps, and the first tournament was a bit of a failed test, and it wasn't working very well. We then refined the system. In the last 2 tournaments we ran, we had, I think, around 150 subscribers, and it worked very well. I think this was a very big step forward for the franchise, and we're not planning to let that go. Actually, if you check the tournaments page, make sure that you go back to the page when there's a new tournament open, because it's really fun. I mean, the last tournament, I think it was won by a margin of 1 point only. So it was just a very dramatic finish, and it's really entertaining. Even if you're not like super good at the game, you can still enjoy the tournaments, because the system works like in a Swiss chess tournament. So basically, you're always matched up with someone who's potentially along the same level as you are. So you maybe you don't win the tournament, but you still have a lot of fun with your opponent, and it's really cool to play. So make sure that you really tune in. And the Allied trilogy will be coming along this year. We are working on the content right now, and it's going to be pretty big. So make sure you check it out. Just checking the chat here. You're going too fast, guys. Okay, let's take a break and check the chat here. Warring East 2. Well, we had a big set of updates just before the break. So if you want to go back, I think the video of that event was still available online. There was a chat with Joel Billings telling more about Warring East 2. So you'll have a lot of information there. The game's definitely coming Q1 this year, so there's not a lot to wait. Campaign Series Vietnam. Well, news on campaign series can be found on Matrix Forum. Jason and the Legion team has been working very hard on Vietnam. This is possibly coming Q2 this year. But we'll have more news as we approach beta, because of course, in these big, huge war games, beta means a lot, right? If something goes wrong with beta or something doesn't work, then you have to go back to drawing board, and it takes quite a lot of time. But ideally, this is now set for Q2 this year. I still have this problem with the volumes, but I don't know what to do with it. So I'm sorry for that. I hope this is not a big deal. Maybe, Bruno, can you check the volume if we can increase it somehow, or not really? Because it's very close anyway, so let me check if I can attach it here. Just drop it here and put this one here. All right, let's see if this is better. Or not. I also think it's a setting issue, but I don't know what to do with it. Or maybe we can try the other one. We could try the other microphone. Let me check. Maybe it's a microphone issue. All right. Okay. Let me check. This is really cool. Makes it for a right, let me see if this works better. If this was really a microphone problem or not. Let's see if this works better. Any good, any better now? Can't hear me at all? Sounds better, about the same, better? All right. Diverging opinions. All right, so volume-wise. so for some it went down. So I'm pretty sure that that now I mean we're doing the best, and if we'll make sure that next time we're a bit more tested. But you know, this not being in the office frequently doesn't help at all. Right, is Allied defined to the last trilogy? Well, not really. I mean, it's a long shot, really. We don't know how long this will go, because of course it depends on, a lot on, you know, on ongoing sales and you know, if the support is going to go on. But it's definitely a game, a franchise that will keep working on in the future. I mean, consider that you know, this year we've got you know, three DLCs plus another one, unannounced one planned. So that's 4 DLCs. This will tell us a lot about, you know, how big the game is still on you know, with players, and you know, if there's reason to keep working on it or not. Right. So, you know, in terms of third announcement, I wanted to quickly go with that, and then, you know, see if there's any other question there. The third announcement here is Combat Mission Black Sea, right? Sorry, Bruno, I don't have the stuff on the screen here. Can you put it there? Yeah, cool. Yeah. Combat Mission Black Sea. As you know, we have started working Battlefront back 2 years ago on the professional side. This was a very a specific deal we had for selling Combat Mission Professional Edition to the defense clients. This was sort of the first contact we had, a commercial contact we had with Battlefront, and this was also a way to get to know each other. And the partnership was very, very good. Is very, very good. And so we launched Combat Mission Shock Force 2 around fall last year on Steam, and again it was an experiment, right? You know, we take things one at a time, and so the experiment went very well. Again, you know, very much like in Order of Battle, you know, you get into a completely different world, like Steam players. You know, what will they think about, you know, Combat Mission? And again, you know, you end up with this issue where, you know, you've got more players, but you've got more players complaining because this is not, you know, what I expected, or, you know, this is not, it's not an action game. You know, it's not an action game. It's a very complex war game, actually. And so, you know, but Shock Force 2 did very, very well. So we went back with Battlefront, thought about, you know, what are we doing next? And well, the natural development for this was going to Combat Mission Black Sea. You know, it's the setting is very similar. You know, in terms of time frame, the idea of the game, you know, is very similar. You know, so before we move to the World War II content, you know, this was sort of the natural evolution of the relationship. You might know Black Sea has been around for quite a long time right now. So the game set in Ukraine. There's American forces, there's Russian forces, there's Ukrainian forces. There's a lot of content. Remember that these games are always packed with content. You know, there's you know, over 20 scenarios. There's 4 campaigns. There's a load of very, very cool content. And on top of it, you've got the DLC, which is, you know, it's called, I think, the Battle Pack. And the Battle Pack again contains a lot of content. There's I think nearly 30 maps. So there's, you know, it's a lot of stuff to play with. So hopefully, you know, this is again a new Steam release. It will release on the Matrix site as well. It will release on the Slitherine site. Hopefully, some third-party Steam resellers will also take it on board. But, you know, the core is right. You know, let's focus on Steam and on the Matrix site. We'll have to see how it goes, and hopefully next we'll have the World War II content, and what is the natural evolution of the relationship with Battlefront will tell us. But we're pretty sure this is going to pan out very, very well. I think the combat mission being on Steam allows a lot of players to approach a series that's been I guess niche, but it's always that kind of graphical impact and gameplay that attracts a lot of a bigger audience, and I think Steam is there for us to capture that. Right, so let's open up for a bit of questions. Remember that after this we have, which is at about 4 minutes or just over that, depending on the questions here. After this, we have a live stream of Combat Mission Black Sea. This would be the first time Combat Mission Black Sea is on the Matrix and Slitherine streams. So we're very happy about that. And from I think this morning, you can wishlist Armored Brigade on Steam. You can wishlist Armored Brigade on our store, and you can do the same for Combat Mission and for Order of Battle, the new Allied DLC. I think there is, Bruno, I think there is a list. I'm sorry? From now, good. So you can go and wishlist it now. I think we have a list of upcoming streams as well. Did you have it with you? The list? Yeah, all right. Yeah, let me check this. Right, so tomorrow at 6 p.m. UK time, that's the time I'm telling you, Panzer Corps 1940 DLC, we have a stream for that, and 8 p.m. we have Shadow Empire. It's fun they are together because today Steam released a list of the best-selling games of 2020, and both Panzer, there's 2 games from Slitherine, and these are Panzer Corps and Shadow Empire, which is great. And it's great to see these games being listed there. It's not often that we've got 2 games, two pretty hardcore games in these lists. And on Saturday, as always, I've got a traditional command stream at 6 p.m. And remember that we update the Twitch schedule every morning, every Monday, in the during around midday, early afternoon. So go check the Monday, check the Twitch schedule on Monday, and you're up to date on what's happening, and you can tune in. Next week on the tea time, I don't know what's going to happen yet, but I'm pretty sure that we'll have some fun stuff to talk about. Can you bring España 1936 on Steam? Gosh, you know what? I thought it was there. I'll check that out. But if not, then there might be reasons why not. But that has to be checked for sure. Will there be upgrades on CMBS when it comes out in Matrix and Slitherine when compared to current Battlefront versions? No, there is no. We're not planning to bring any update to existing combat mission games. These are coming exactly as they're sold on Battlefront, and for future stuff, we'll see and we'll liaise with Battlefront, because the relationship is now there to look at stuff together. But for existing games, there's no reason why we do that. Let me check. Remember that we've got Field of Glory 2 Medieval beta open and going as well. So if you're interested in that, just a list. Make sure you join the beta. Nothing to say about Starship Troopers. Well, Starship Troopers is we've announced that, of course, last year, at the end of last year, that the game was being delayed. I can give a bit more detail about why the game's being delayed. We announced the game in November last year. I think it was November or early December, if I remember correctly. We were overwhelmed by the feedback we got for the game. And so we had almost to go back and think, okay, right, if you go on Steam right now and you browse the most anticipated strategy games by wish list, Starship Troopers is easily in the top 20, probably in the top 10. It's probably one of the most anticipated RTSs this year. So we had to sort of go back and rethink a bit, you know, the positioning of the product. This was a part of why the game has been delayed, because we had to sort of refocus in terms of gameplay. The second reason was that, of course, in the meantime, COVID hit, and by the time we had reassessed the schedule, the development schedule, we had brought in the loop external help, and in terms of, you know, contractors and external companies to help with, you know, specific areas of the game. And of course, these companies were disrupted by the COVID situation, work from home and all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, all sorts, you know, this project is, you know, we really want it to be what a Starship Trooper fan wants. And so we are doing a lot of focus testing. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes, and we really want it to be what you guys want. So we'll make sure, you know, a bit like we did for Battlestar Galactica, right? You know, it was a really good Battlestar Galactica game, right? Before being a good strategy game, you know. That's the same we want to do with Starship Troopers. We want it to be a good Starship Troopers game, and that requires a lot of going back and forth. I need to put my hands in the pocket. Warhammer Armageddon 2, no news about that. No, there's really nothing on the board for that. Will this be the first good Starship Trooper game? Well, I hope so. Yes, this was a very good one. +1 for Shadow Empire and Das Tactics tutorials. I want to publicly thank Das Tactics for doing these amazing tutorials for Shadow Empire, because they were instrumental for, you know, bringing in a lot of new people to the game. So thank you, Das, for doing that. Steel Tigers, there's no update on development right now. As you know, Steel Tigers is being developed by 2x3 Games. 2x3 Games is very busy finishing War in East 2, so we're really trying to get that sorted before we move to something else. Yeah, well, I guess that's it. I mean, unless something else comes in, we'll give this. We'll wrap this up for today, for this first half hour. If for next weeks you want to raise questions or raise points, just ping us on the forums, ping us on the social media, on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, and we'll make sure that we include some of these questions in next week's stream, next week's tea time. And I will now leave you to the stream of Combat Mission Black Sea, and I will see you next week on Thursday. I'll go back to my tea now. Cheers, guys.